Welcome to our training session on how to use the CAT Communications text messaging platform supported by Reach Interactive. Prior to access of the text messaging platform, you will have purchased your text message credits and been provided your password for the portal. When you log into the portal for the first time, you'll be faced with the main dashboard. The dashboard has a series of options from a simple send of a text message to a more complex developer option for integrating with your internal systems. Across the top of the screen, you will always retain the menu, so dashboard, send message, inbox, etc. To go back to the dashboard at any time, you just click on Dash, and that will take you back to this page here. If you ever get stuck, there is an interactive tutorial which will give you prompts on what each option does. One of the most common used option is Simple Send for a text message. When you select this option, it will take you to a new page. If you have contacts stored in already, they'll be listed in here. Or if you're doing a one-off send, you can add the recipient's telephone number in here. And then click Add. If you ordered a specific telephone number in order to get replies that will go in here, alternatively, we recommend you add your business name or sender's details in here. When the recipient receives a text, it will show those details you have entered. So, for example, if I typed in test number, when the recipient gets a text, rather than it saying it came from a telephone number, it will say test number. If you want to schedule the text, you schedule it in here. If you leave it blank, it will go as soon as you hit Send SMS in the bottom right-hand corner. Message text is where you will type your message. You'll see in here the approximate message length that I've typed in is 38 characters, and that will use one of your text credits. If it goes over 160 characters, it will say 2 text messages, and so on and so forth. You can also add a link in here if you need somebody to go to a particular page on your website. Once you hit Send SMS, that will then send the text. So, we're not going to send a text at this moment in time. What we're going to do is go to Dashboard, and here you have more advanced options of what you wish to do. Now the key thing is, for most businesses, they want to pre-add into the portal a list of contacts. So, if you're using this portal for alerting staff members they need to work from home today due to disaster recovery, you can do one of two things. You can either create a list or you can create My Contacts. So if you go to your contacts first, you can either add them manually, so the format is always telephone number, person's first name, person's surname, or you can upload using the same form. So when you upload, you can upload either a CSV or Excel file, but you've got to remember that column 1 is the phone number, column 2 is the first name, column 3 is the surname. You then upload it and it will upload everything in here. So if I create a dummy contact for Mr. Temperton and click Add, the contact is then created. When you import contacts, it will also list them all in here. So in going back to Dashboard, remember where we did a simple send? Because I've created a contact, that contact is in there, and by default, it will send it highlighted to that person when you put a text in. So if we go back to Dash again, we can look at the option of creating lists. The advantage here is you can create multiple different lists. So if you wanted to send a message to your sales team, you could create a sales team list. If you wanted to create a company-wide list, you could do that too. This means you're not having to individually highlight people's names when sending a message at a later date. Advanced Send is slightly more complicated. This is where you're sending more structured and personalized messages to people in your lists or contacts. For more information on Advanced Send and my templates, please visit the dedicated recording for that subject. In brief though, with my templates, this is where you create a template text, and what it does is where it's got columns here, it's taking the columns off your spreadsheet. So for example, you can personalize the message. If you did hello column 2, where column 2 is a person's first name, it would go hello column 2, but the recipient would get it as hello John, a more personalized way of sending a text message. We frequently get asked is how do we know a message has been delivered, and one of the free benefits of our portal is the ability to run reports. Here you can run reports, and it tells you how many messages have been delivered successfully, how many have failed, how many have expired, and how many have been rejected. You'll see on this example where you can see how many have been sent, which will always be the highest number. How many have been delivered? How many expired or didn't get opened? How many you got rejected? Rejected could be things like an incorrect telephone number. This is a very useful tool to have when you're paying for text messages. That is our quick overview of the KT Communications text messaging platform. If you have questions, please email us on support@catcommunications.co.uk or visit our YouTube page for further videos on the advanced send and template features.